cracking them up, and then you get a layer. These are all precipitated out of solution, though. That's why these things are pure. And then there was no regional geomorphism to basically cook this thing. This thing didn't get cooked. Whereas you go down where your Wonderstone is, that was a silty sandstone, and it was silica to start with, but it was the same lake as this. It just had a source rock coming out of rhyolites instead of this thing. Was weathering out, not from this local little volcanic field, but it was coming out of the regional water system. Whereas your Wonderstone is almost all silica to start with, and then it had a geothermal event that created 88% silica, and that's what's so good about your tile and stuff like that.
Oh, sure.
And I got 7 more of them when you're ready to mine them.
Yeah, good.
They're out there.
Good.
I know where they all are.
All
the way to Tonopah.
I found some of them, but most
I know. You and I found
them. Yeah.
They're still there. They're still waiting for you.
Yeah. Yep.
But this is very unusual to have this amount of calcium carbonate. There's one, Milton Christensen has one that's the same thing as this, only it has a fault that is down dropped a bunch of silt, and it's smaller than this one, and it's not as pure. And then people were using it for shooting for a long time, so there's lead in it. And
we'll go by that today. Where we're going from here, we want to see if you want to go with us.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Dusty's place there, have lunch.
Where's Dusty?
Dusty's is right in the Mill
Star
City.
Point?
Yeah, Star Point.
Star Point,
yeah, she owns that. So then we're going to eat lunch there, and then from there, we're going to go down and see Warren. Warren, do you know Warren?
I remember Warren from a long time
Yeah,
ago.
Warren used to work for me years ago. Now he's...
I'm glad he's still around.
Oh, yeah, no, he's still around.
Because a lot of the guys we know aren't around.
Right,
I work for him too.
Oh, very good. I should give you a card of mine. Wow. Carbonate Technology.
That's what it's named for.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's wonderful. I'm glad Warren's still out there.
Oh, yeah, so we were going to go to his farm.
Okay.
He's growing a bunch of this stuff. He's using it on his farms. He's
Yeah.
just starting another one out by Ely, 500 acres that's virgin ground. They want to put this on it because they're growing hemp. So we're going to go out there and talk to him.
That's the cash crop of the future, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know it is.
I'm
Yeah.
not in favor of it.
No, me neither. But
Any question for Chris? Bringing this to China.
Yeah,
great.
You are? You've been filming this?
Yeah, we're filming
yeah,
you. Yeah.
I need a royalty.
No problem, man. There's plenty.
Well, there's a lot of history here. It goes all the way back to the Miocene. But this is basic. This whole part of Nevada is opening up, and so what you have is basin and range here, and you have interior drainage, so that you have no outlet to the sea here. Everything is going to evaporate, so that even at the time of the Miocene, there was an ancestral Humboldt River here, bringing in the very pure water that created the conditions that the shells dropped out. So the shells can't incorporate any bad things into their shells,
So
because their crystal structure makes
it's
calcium
the
carbonate.
purity.
It's the purity.
This deposit.
Oh, this thing is just pure as
that
heck.
makes it special for growing plants and.
Well,
whatever.
what you use it for is a whole nother question. But the way that it deposited itself is a pure system of just water, calcium carbonate, and shells, and they were dropping out, and they were making this little pancake here, right here. And you find another one, just next mountain range over in the fractal system, where there's a north-south fault and a northeast extension. At that time, it was a little basin, and that's Milton Christensen's one. Then you go over toward Wells, and then there's another couple more about there.
I've been in one well.
They're not
Yeah.
nearly as nice as
No.
this. They probably weren't as stable, or the water systems were slightly different. I don't think they're pure enough.
I tested one of the wells. It didn't come out near as good as this.
I don't think it's nearly as good. It probably wasn't as stable. Something was very stable, and it was bringing in a lot of water.
Sure.
And the University of Montana professor that I talked to thought that it was related to the outflow of the basalts into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And the Sierra Nevada hadn't risen high enough at that point. And so we weren't in the big rain shadow. We weren't a big desert at that time. That there was trees and We know there was beavers because down in Pine Nut Placer is what's called Ancient Rivers, and that was the same system. That was the same water systems and everything.
Have you spent a lot of time, like in this whole area, Nevada or California?
Oh yeah, well I've been here for 20-some years.
How far south have you?
We worked all the way to Tonopah.
There's a Wollastonite deposit down there.
Those are metamorphic, and it's not related to gold, and it's not related to limestone. I don't know anything about it.
Oh.
But wollastonite is a mineral that is of known value. It's mostly mined in Canada for the North American market, as far as I know.
So basically, we claim this product that we have non-existent, except we have it
What's
to other
that?
places.
Where? Which
Let's say
deposit?
China. Did they have anything like this in China?
Oh, I'm sure they do. China has just about everything we have here.
Yeah.
You have interior basins. You have much bigger. They're bigger than here. Nevada's getting ripped apart because it's headed. The left coast here is headed for Alaska.
But it's non-existent right now. They don't have anything like this in China.
Oh, I'm sure there is stuff.
They're mixing it.
Well, I'm sure there's limestones just like this.
There's deposits like that. Yeah.
I'm sure there's.
Yeah.
It's the same
Yeah.
systems. There's
Yeah.
interior
Things, so it's hard to
basins.
believe this is the only one, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the only one that I know of that's as pure and unmined in Nevada right now.
What about down Las
And
Vegas?
Randy owns it.
What about down in the Vegas area, like around Sloan and Apex? You know where La Hoist is, Armagosa.
That's out of my area. I don't know much about those. That whole spot should be part of
The
Arizona.
Hoist is one of the companies that called me about this, actually.
Clark County used to be Arizona territory.
Yeah.
We should have never gotten Clark County.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
That was all part of the.
Bunch of damn liberals.
Well, it truly was Arizona territory, and to become a state, we had to have what was called equal footing in the Constitution, and we had to have access to the sea, and that was our access to the Colorado River, which was considered access to the sea. That's the only reason we got Clark County. We should have never gotten it.
You were saying earlier about the calcium oxide. That's the main. That's a big reason why it benefits the plant
I
growth.
think that's why it's much more
'cause
chelatable because
yeah.
it's a different bond. It's a much more weak bond.
they
Calcium
can
and
the
oxygen
plants can take it up
Will-
easier.
uptake.
will
Yeah.
go into solution so much easier than
Mhm.
calcium carbonate bond. And that's why you can put it. This is why it's pharmaceutical grade, because it can be chelatable so much better than the pure shells. The shells haven't been broken down from the calcium carbonate. You have to release them,
I see.
and that takes.
And what
chemicals.
process makes that possible? Is it the time
is there
or
calcium oxide here?
Why is it? Yeah.
Well,
is it time that
it's the special properties of how this little pancake lake
developed?
dropped out.
Okay.
And it is different. It's a Miocene age, and it's different than all of the oceanic limestones that we got surrounding this, which are dolomites and have magnesium, and they're gray and they're harder to chelate, and so they're like I worked for Minad for a short stint, and they were looking at all kinds of little niche markets, but one of their niche markets is they use it for cattle feed supplement. And so the cattle get a very small amount of calcium out of a marine dolomite, but it's enough. And you can take that stuff because it's basically completely cheap. Put it on a railroad and send it over to Colorado and send it to Nebraska. And so that's what they use it for. But this would be a much better one.
Mm.
There's not nearly as much of this, and that's why this is going to be more valuable. And as far as how plants handle this, I don't know that much about it because I'm a geologist. I know everything about how this happened here.
Okay.
Now, on top of this deposit, you can find pieces of basalt, and you can find pieces of all the rhyolite, and that's ice rafted. It was on the glacial ice as it flowed over this and got stuck on this little pancake of a hill, and it melted out. And so that's when Lake Lahontan was here. That's when this was being deposited during the last 2 million years. There was a lake here. And so this is the tufas, but you get ice rafted rocks on top, little pebbles on top of this thing, and that's how that happened. They were stuck in the ice, and the ice melted.
Yeah.
So it's a little story
Yeah.
about the ice age here that you wouldn't know about. And I did my master's thesis on ice age processes as a rock glacier specialist up in Montana. Well, there's nobody will pay you for knowing about rock glaciers.
Yeah, sure.
Nobody.
Kinda
I'm
dumb,
still the
huh?
expert up there. So they still come to me because I'm the only one that studied that stuff. Now the thing that's useful for is that was the source of the water for the upper Yellowstone. So that's what keeps the Yellowstone flowing.
Okay.
You know, a
Those
guy
rock
called
glaciers.
Ken Santini.
What's he do?
He's a geologist. He lives in Arizona.
I don't know. Arizona, it's too hot there. This is as far south as I'm going. It really is.
For me, I'm from San Francisco.
This is nice. This you can mine year round,
Yeah.
and almost no problems. You do get what we would call pogonip, which is a skeleton frost, where it is so bone cold that it killed that was how it was called skeleton frost. But on all these little bushes in here, you'll have these long crystals. And it doesn't happen very often. So skeleton frost occasionally happens.
So the rhyolite, that's got to be a lot older.
Yeah, this is a Miocene volcanic field here.
So there was a volcano here 5 million years ago?
No, well, we'd have to look at the Kit Carson Desert is the USGS. I think it's professional paper, something like 74 or something like that. It's I gave it to you,
Yeah.
but the geology of the Kit Carson Basin is the USGS publication that has all the understanding of these little providers. But these have almost nothing to do with this. They're just the basement here.
Yeah.
This is just the basement, and if you drill through it, you hit some clay, you'll hit some old soil, and then you go right into these volcanics. But they have nothing to do with how that little lake happened there. It just happens that this was the basin, and it was depressed here because of the two junctions of the two
Fault.
different fault systems. That's why there's a little tiny lake here.
Sure.
So, yeah.
You guys want to go over to that pile and we'll load that up? Ask them any questions there.
Okay.
Yeah. Why?
None of this all.
Yeah. You notice we all got hats. You'll notice a big difference with a hat.
Yeah.